everybody, it's Dr. Joe, and today I'm going to show you, wait, where's my Patronus? Expecto Patronum! Doing? It's my unicorn Callie, who's my Patronus. Are you going to help me with Peroneal Tendonitis? I mean, Peroneal Tendonitis. We're going to show you some stretches and exercises, so let's get started. Disclaimer alert, disclaimer alert. So the peroneal tendon runs along the outside of your foot. So a lot of the stretches are going to be for your calf, Achilles tendon area, soleus, all those muscles around the area, and then even for that tendon itself. So let's start off with a calf stretch. I like to use a little roll. You can use a pool noodle. You can use just a rolled up towel or just hang it off the edge if you're sitting on a couch or a bed or something. But use something to prop it up so your heel has some movement. Then take a stretch strap or a belt. If you don't have one of these, you can use a big towel or even a dog leash. But something that has a loop works best. Put it around the ball of your foot. Relax that foot and use the strap just to pull it towards you. So as you can see, I'm pulling my toes and my foot, but I'm not actively moving my foot. So you want the leg to be nice and relaxed, and then you're just going to pull towards you, and you should feel it stretching that calf muscle underneath. So you want to hold that stretch for 30 seconds. Take a little break, shake it out, and do that a total of 3 times. So just getting a nice big pull in there. And then after you get it stretched out, if you're already in this position, you can go ahead and do some exercises. Even though I'd probably do all my stretches first, since I'm already here, this is where I would want to be. So the peroneal tendon over here helps pull your foot outwards into that eversion motion. So we're going to exercise it in that motion. And using resistive bands is the best way to do it. In the TheraBand series, red is the second lightest. It starts off yellow, then goes red, green, blue, and so on from there. So you probably want to start off with the lightest one. If you don't have the TheraBand brand, make sure you're checking to see which one is the lightest, because you want to start off pretty light, because if you've got the tendonitis in there, it's already a little irritated, so you don't want something that's going to irritate it even more. Make a loop with the band. Put it around the foot. And how do we get it to go outwards, you might ask? We'll anchor it around the other foot. So you want that knot to be in the opposite side that you want to push out. So we're going to go out this way, and you can make it tighter by just tightening up that band a little bit. I like having that roll so you still have the free movement of your foot, but try and move just at your ankle. Sometimes people want to kind of move that whole leg, but this part should really stay still, and you're just going to turn out and come back in. So that's that eversion, going out and coming back in. So it's not going to be a huge movement, and this might be just a little bit irritating if you have that tendonitis. So make sure that you start off with that light band, like I said. And if you're not getting good movement, or maybe it's hurting a little more than you think it should, just try doing that without the band as well. So now we're going to do some standing up stuff. For the stretches and exercises standing up, make sure you have something sturdy to hold on to. So a chair or a countertop, because some of it has to do with balance, and you want to make sure that you're safe and you're not all over the place. So now we're going to do a runner stretch for the calf. Hold on to something sturdy like the chair. The leg that you want to stretch, you're going to put back behind you. Make sure your toes are pointed forwards and that your back heel is down. Then you're going to take your front knee and lean forward until you feel a stretch back there in your calf. If you need to bring that foot a little more forward, you can, so it doesn't put stress on there. But keep that leg nice and straight and just stretch forward, holding that for 30 seconds, and then doing that 3 times. So again, making sure that heel is down on the ground and that those toes are pointed forwards, and then leaning in until you feel a good stretch in the calf area. Then just changing that stretch a little bit, you're going to stretch your soleus muscle. The soleus is right underneath the calf. So you're going to stretch it pretty similarly, except this time you're going to bend your back knee as well. And once you bend your back knee, that kind of takes the cap out of it, so then it stretches the soleus. So bending that back knee this time, bending the front knee, still keeping that heel down, still keeping the toes forward, and then bending forward. Now sometimes people feel this a little bit in the front at their ankle if they've got some tightness in their joint. That's okay, because you're still stretching that whole area a little bit, and that's what you want. So same thing, holding the stretch for 30 seconds and then doing that 3 times on each side. So coming back up, shake it out a little bit, bend both knees, and then bend forward, trying to keep that heel down. After you get that good and stretched out, then you're going to do some exercises. So the next one is just going to be a heel toe raise. Put your feet about shoulder width apart, and again, hold on to something sturdy, just so you have it for balance, because if you have some balance issues, it makes it a little bit easier to focus on the technique if you've got something to hold on to. So this time, just with your feet about shoulder width apart, you're going to come up on your toes, slowly come down, and then pull your toes up. So it's very much about the control. If you're coming up and then just coming right back down, you're missing out on part of the exercise. So make sure you're going up, then nice and slow down, pulling the toes up, not kicking your booty back, but pulling the toes up, slowly coming down. So if you need to start with both hands holding on to the chair or countertop, that's fine. But if you can get to 20, 25, and it's easy, then try just one hand holding on. And then if that's easy, just try maybe like a finger for a little bit of balance holding on. But if you're pushing down and your finger's getting bent, you're probably still putting too much pressure. There's just a little finger for some balance. And then if that's really easy, then you can try it without holding on. But again, if you're not holding on, you come up like this and you come straight back down, you probably are not quite ready for it, because you really want to be able to control that motion coming back down. If all those become easy, then you can go to just one foot, going up on the toe, coming back on the heel, and then doing the same thing, then one hand, and then no hands doing it. So again, if you feel a little unbalanced, make sure you're holding on first. Then after that, you're just going to do regular single leg balance. And the reason this is so good is because that peroneal tendon on the outside has a lot to do with our balance. Our ankles and our hips have a lot to do with balance. So a good way to strengthen those after we get it healing is just to work on balance. So same thing, if you need to start off with holding on with 2, that's fine. Then you can go down to one hand, couple fingers, then you can just go to one finger, and then you can try balancing without anything at all. If you get to this point and this is pretty easy, then start putting a little bit of movement into the balance by then just reaching forward a little bit and coming back. And if you look at my ankle while I'm doing these balances series, it's moving around, but that's okay. That's what it's supposed to do, because it's just trying to find the center of gravity and it's trying to find our balance. So if it's wiggling, that's okay, that's completely normal. But if it's hurting, then you're probably not quite ready for it yet. So the last exercise and stretch is going to be on a step. So a pretty easy stretch for that peroneal tendon. You can use the step, you don't have to use the step. You can just do it on the floor, but I like doing it on the step because I feel like it's a little higher up and you can push down a little bit. But since the tendon's on the outside here, just roll your foot a little bit on that step and then push downwards. So you're just kind of stretching that tendon in that motion. So again, you can do it on the floor. You don't necessarily have to do it on a step, but I like having a little bit of bend in the knee because it's not quite as much pressure on it. And so when you've got that tendonitis, you might want a little bit less pressure, and then you can just put it down on the floor and then kind of push down. But you're pushing downward, so it's getting that stretch at the ankle. So that would be a 30-second hold, holding it for 30 seconds, take a little break, and then do 3 of those. Then the last stretch using a step is for the Achilles tendon, which is back here, and so that gets tight often. So a step is a great place to stretch that out. Hopefully on your steps you have railings, because again, If you need some balance, you want to hold on to something. Because you're on the edge of the step, sometimes that's a little hard with balance, especially if you got some ankle issues going on. So make sure you're holding on to something or have somebody there that can hold on with you. Put the ball of your foot right on the edge of the step. The other foot can stay completely on for some more balance, and then you're just going to drop that heel down until you feel a really good stretch in there. And so this is one of my favorite stretches. I feel like it really gets that spot in there. And so again, you want to hold that stretch for 30 seconds, come back up, shake it out, and do that a total of 3 times. So that's a really good stretch there. And then the last thing with the step is doing a side step up. And so what this does is, since you're doing a sideways kind of motion, you're really getting that outer tendon working. And so that's really good to help strengthen it. So with the side step ups, what I like to do is when I go back or go sideways, go back just a little bit. And the reason for that is if I just go sideways, see how my knee comes forward a little bit? And if it goes in front of the toes, that puts a lot of pressure on it. Now, some people say just kind of stick your booty back, which is fine. But I find that if you step back and out just a little bit, that's just as effective. And it's a little bit easier for people to get this motion, because it's forcing you to stick your booty out, than just going straight out and having to stick your booty out. So again, you're just going out and back, and so that's going to really do some good strengthening in those ankles there. But make sure you do both sides, because it's working each side differently. And just start off with about 10 of those, because it's going to be a lot, especially depending on how high your step is, and then you can work your way up from there. My unicorn Callie. So those are your stretches and exercises for peroneal tendonitis. Make sure you help support our channel by clicking up here, and don't forget to subscribe by clicking down here. Are you ready to get out of here? Boom! Be safe, have fun, and I hope you feel better soon.